Today, I'm honored to welcome an exceptional trailblazer to the podcast, Swapna Dutt, a celebrated producer with an impressive journey in the entertainment industry.
Our lullabies were film stories. My dad would bring so much cinema to us and be like, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to listen to a song that I'm making?
She has delivered some of the most acclaimed movies of our time.
He gave us that freedom to do it. He said, it's all yours now. Go ahead and do what you all want to do.
Including the pathbreaking Kalki 2898.
You need to hide that Deepika Padukone is pregnant, that too for 4 years.
Mahanati, the biographical masterpiece on a legendary actress.
So my manifestation is that I did my best to this work. It shouldn't fail me. When I know I didn't do enough, I know it's not going to work.
Which not only captured audiences' hearts, but also swept several national and international awards.
I always wanted to be my father while I was growing up, but then actually now I know I want to be my mother.
Another feather in her cap is the romantic drama Sita Ramam, celebrated for its gripping narrative and critical acclaim.
I can sit home and just be very happy. My husband would take care of better than what I would probably bring from outside.
Swapna's outstanding contributions have not gone unnoticed. She has been recognized with numerous prestigious awards, including the National Film Award, Nandi Award, Filmfare, SIIMA, Zee Cinema Awards, and many accolades celebrating her as a powerhouse producer in Indian cinema.
I'm still weak at points. I still am weak a little bit here and there. I don't want her to be that.
Beyond her professional accolades, Swapna is a shining example of someone who strikes a beautiful balance between her personal and professional life.
I want to bathe my Amavaru. I want to give like that Abhishekam, or I want to do it a certain way. I feel God is also enjoying it. So that's my relationship with God.
In today's episode, we are primarily discussing close relationships, on how we can keep them healthy and nurture them through simple life strategies.
I pushed being a parent for a very long time. Now if it happened, be very cool, be nice. I probably need that little human being in my life.
We also dwell into Swapna's incredible mindset, her unwavering clarity, her ability to tackle life's challenges, and how she embraces her vulnerabilities while leaning into her strengths.
It's working for the organization which my father built very strongly. We would not let that go anytime soon.
Her journey is not just one of professional achievement, but also of resilience, vision, and deep personal growth.
I was the face of the business, though I was not fully responsible for it. I was sitting in a court and I was like, most of these guys probably did some horrendous crimes and I didn't do anything.
I can't wait for you to hear insights and draw inspiration from her incredible story. So join us in this sacred space. Thank you so much. And this means a lot for being here. I think we've lived in the same community for close to 3 years.
Yeah.
I really got to know Swapna, the person, in the last 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And this is one friendship that I truly cherish.
Same here.
Because it's very authentic. It's been a very honest, sacred space for me to be vulnerable, for me to empty myself. And you've given me so much strength in moments where I really needed a hand.
Exactly my words to you too. Last 1.5 years been tough, busy, a lot of, hard moments, but you've made it so easy for me.
Today is your podcast. So I'm going to highlight.
This is the first time I'm actually doing a podcast.
Yes. I have a producer on my podcast and I'm producing the show.
You have a friend on your podcast.
So 3 things that I really take from you as a person. And I take them very seriously because that changed my life. From the time I've gotten to know you, I think you're someone who really prioritizes yourself. You schedule yourself first. That is very important. Number 2, I think your sense of boundaries. You keep very good sense of boundaries. That is the secret sauce to having healthy friendships. We're going to explore that a little bit more. And the third is you do not take success very seriously. You don't make it all about yourself. And that's something I've seen very little in people.
Thank you. And I don't know any other way to live. I mean, that's how I think we saw life. And we've seen equal amount of failure also. So, that's also one of the reasons that we understand success is just not one person. It's a lot of, which is true also, in the field that we come in. Success is is bought in by hundreds of people who work together for that success. So we are just the faces of it, aren't they?
Very well said.
And yeah, I mean, back in the day when you talk about scheduling my life a bit, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all before the child.
So when I look at films and movies, most of us get to see the final product. And it's very easy for us to just leave a simple judgment of, yes, the movie is good, or a thumbs down. But someone who's seen films grown up with a father who's a producer, what is your bird eye view? I mean, your lens, the way you look at movies, I think is very different, right?
So I'm slightly different because when I go to cinema, you've come to films with me, so you know how I enjoy cinema.
Yes.
I don't like to watch it with the bird view at all. I like to enjoy it like audience. I like to yell, laugh and cry, and that's something that I love to, I just like to put away my critical mindset, or oh wow, that shot should have been better, the CG would have been better. That still floats a bit because we do that day in day out, but I like to enjoy the film like audience. If I don't like the film also, it's like the audience are like, oh, it was boring, I didn't like it, and things like that. But then yeah, when it comes to picking up stories, it becomes slightly different, because also even then, Shruti, for me, things work because I started thinking like audience. I felt like if I am the core audience, would I like this film? Would I enjoy this scene? I personally think I'm come from a mindset of the 75% audience, like uh, not very easy to please, but yet easy to please. Give them good content, they'll enjoy it. Give them good humor, they'll enjoy it. So I'm that person. I'm not one of those really serious audience sort of a thing. So if I'm enjoying the film, that means there's 75% of audience who are going to enjoy the film. That's the funda that I started believing in. Me and Priyanka stopped making cinema because the market might like it, or or it might make sense commercially.
So you're not following the rat race.
We don't follow it.
That gives you so much peace.
It gives us so much peace.
There's
and
so much integrity. That's why your work is very different.
And clearly that's given us success. I'm telling this because this is for a lot of people out there, that the rat race is only to an extent, I feel. I personally think we need to get out of it. I mean, probably you will not work as much as the other person is working and all that, but I don't even want to do that. I mean, it should make sense in what we make. So technically, I think that worked for us when people wonder, like, how all this happened and everything, and how all this, and I'm not saying that so much has happened, but we're very happy with the work that we're doing. We're very happy that we're able to bring out stories that we love to tell. Only when we decided, and we also convinced my father that we go your route. Like back in the day, you used to do cinema that you used to like though it was all commercial cinema, but he used to do fantasies, he used to do different sort of cinema, but on a commercial scale. I said, believers, we will also try to do something like that. And luckily he gave us that freedom to do it. He said, it's all yours now, go ahead and do what you all want to do. And that gave us more power.
Take us back a little into your childhood. What do you think the earliest impressions were that shaped your career choices?
Shruti, so career choices are not there. Let me tell you. What did I want to do? Like, did I have something in my mind? Did I want to be in cinema? Nothing. I was good with science. I remember telling my mom that should I do MPC? Should I do BPC? She said, no, do math, do MPC. I was so bad with math. I said, no. She said, no, being doctor is very hard. I said, see, was that my career choice? I don't know. So what shaped our lives, I'd say, rather than a career choice, ours was a very grounded life, extremely normal, was great growing up. We were living in a town called, back in the day, it was a town. Now it's a capital city called Vijayawada, amongst lots and lots of relatives, with our grandfather. Extremely grounded life. My daughter was asking my dad to send a car of her choice to school the other day. I said, we used to go in rickshaw and we were so happy. I said, this is not the way I want my daughter to grow up, but I don't know how much choice I have of that. But then, so extremely grounded, and we'd had a great childhood, and we've seen our father working extremely hard. So he used to do Monday to Thursday in Chennai because my grandparents were in Vijayawada. So my mom chose to live in Vijayawada. My mom had a career. She was in bank. She's a very enterprising woman, but then she chose to stay back home and take care of the kids and in-laws. And well, my dad was working very hard. He'd do Monday to Thursday in Chennai, take the mail, come to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, spend time with us. Sometimes he would make us bunk the school because he would be here and then travel back. So I've seen two extremely hardworking people doing their thing to the family. So I think that shaped our childhood, that shaped our career. Whichever path that we had taken, I think we'd put in the best effort, and then rest is. And it so happened that our lullabies were film stories. My dad would bring so much cinema to us and be like, "This is what I'm doing. Do you want to listen to the song that I'm making?" And this is how the heroine of the film is looking. The hero of the film is looking. So I think that tuned to an extent of we like it. We like it. Then we moved to Hyderabad, see my father do in and out. And my father's also very smart. Like, he would not let us sit idle. So my college was easy, degree, chilling, go half.
Back then, were you serious about coming into cinema?
Nothing. I didn't know anything. So I'm in my degree, I was like chilling like other kids, not go to college, wake up very late and things like that. My dad was extremely easy till a point. You tell my mom, don't let them wake up, let them happy, let them do whatever they want to do. But I think after an age, he chose to tell us that you have to wake up in the morning. You have to.
At what age was this?
This was I think my final year of degree and stuff. He said, I understand you barely want to go to college. You're enjoying your college. I want to give you a few tasks. He introduced me to cinema then. He said, go pick up costumes for dancers behind. He'd give us the color palette. He'd make me do all that. So I think he slowly prep work. I don't know if he wanted me to be in cinema, but at least he wanted me to be engaged in work. I think that was very clear. And then I went to my master's. I think everything that you hear or you learn in terms of marketing or business strategy or whatsoever, this is your core, no? You've seen your father doing this. Somewhere you think I would probably do it like this in the field that we are in, as a family. So came back and thus the media. Yeah, I came back and then wanted to start something on my own, tried my hands in few things. But then I thought, by going back to my dad's office when he is in full form, wouldn't let me do so much because I'd probably be an executive doing work lesser than an executive does. He'd probably do a better job than me. So I picked television. I was very tuned to Hindi TV back in the day. The reality shows were doing extremely well.
You also did many Telugu shows.
My career started as a TV producer.
How do you manage your masculine and feminine? Because you need your masculine when you go out in the world as a leader to get things done. But once you come home, you have to transform into the nurturing role, the caregiver. Most successful women tend to lose that balance. They end up being even domineering at home. How do you bring that balance?
So much, I think, that I've learned from my mother. For me, home plays a very important role. I think that's where I'm very happy. I'm also bringing up another human being. And I just like to keep my home like the way my mother did. So the minute I come home, I think, actually even at workspace, there's obviously all the work that we do, all the like you said, all the masculine work that we do. Besides that, there's always one feminine energy to it, like your space or the way you look at it, or you lead your team. And that's to a lot to my advantage, is what I think. I love being a woman. I feel there's definitely more empathy in thinking, and also take a lot of pride in the way I do things. Like, I'm not saying the successful things. I'm also talking about my day-to-day life. The way I keep my house, I'm very happy. I like it a certain way, and I'm able to do it a certain way. How is the balance? And yeah, like exactly what my mother used to do. I always thought that I should keep my house like I want to be a homemaker like my mother. So it needs a little bit of work, and I give that work to it.
So when it comes to your mother, she of course chose to be a homemaker, but she had to trade off her career, right? Here you're able to balance both. I mean, after 20 years, what does she look back at?
If she was let out and if she chose to do something, she would have really excelled in whatever she was doing. She'd keep thinking, I'd probably be leading. I mean, I'd be leading a team in a bank. I'd be leading few districts, and she'd keep thinking all that. But yeah, we for a fact know that she'd excel in her job, like whichever thing that she'd choose to do. But she chose not to. Back in the day, circumstances were very different. That she had to be with my grandparents and 3 children, and it was a lot of work. I was very clear that I wanted a career. It was very, very clear that I wanted to really do something in life. So that I had to trade off few things, like in my personal life, that probably less number of holidays and, probably less amount of fun, probably compared to my friends. Those things I had to trade off, but I'm absolutely happy trading off those for whatever we've done with our lives. Yes.
So can I ask you this question? Why do you do whatever you do today?
I would be lying if I'd say for my joy and all that. I definitely do it for our livelihood, which is very important. At the same point of time, what gives us a lot of joy and pride is that we are not compromising our pride and our satisfaction for the livelihood. We're able to balance both beautifully. I mean, we do something, we'd make more money. We'd rather do this for lesser money. It's okay. We do more challenging. We'd probably take more chances. We're able to balance both very well. That gives me a lot of joy in my career at this point of time. And this is the only way I'd like to do. If I may not able to do at some point of time, not relevant anymore, as I'd probably drop. I'd just chill at home then.
I didn't expect that answer because you come from a very established family where your livelihood is taken care of. So I always assumed it was probably your creative fire that was propelling you to come out into the world, find expression. Because there are two kinds. When women step out, it's for economic reasons, or it is the creative fire. It's the belly. They want to find expression in the world because they feel like sitting at home is not giving them that fulfillment.
I can sit at home and just be very happy. My husband would take care of things very well, more better than what I'd probably bring from outside. But then my father is not that person at all. He would not. I mean, Vaijanti is just. I mean, when I'm talking about livelihood, it's just not us 5 people. Those 50 people, 100 people who work with us, along with us. So it's a constant work that we need to do to keep the office going too. So I'd say at the same time, I'm not saying I'm working for them. It's working for the organization which my father built very strongly for
Legacy.
50 years, and we would not let that go anytime soon.
As a second generation, I know many friends who belong to business families, but the second generation is not always interested in what the first generation has done. Here, did you find a natural inclination towards it?
Yeah, that cinema does to you. That clearly cinema does to you. Everybody, I mean, all my contemporaries, my friends, you see, most of them, you would want to go back. You will want to do what our fathers did. Cinema is fun. Cinema is great joy. Cinema is, when you for outside, it looks glamorous. All that is there. That's there any which ways. But what gives us a lot more joy is that when you put these things together, when you work so hard for it, when you actually see it happening, it gives us a lot of joy. When the biggest joy for me is to go back to the films that we put together with a lot of, just when it's fresh, kada, you'd probably not enjoy it so much. I'll go back to Mahanati and be like, even today I'd go back to Mahanati, and probably Kalki will be like that after 3 years.
Yes.
I go back to Mahanati, damn, we only had this much budget while making this song, and look at it. Go to Sita Ramam and be like, I had so many hardships that I had to fight for this scene, and look at it. So it gives you so much pride. That gives you a lot of joy, health, happiness, everything.
So you are a huge whistleblower for women empowerment. In a way, I need to give credit to this podcast because you're someone who always gave me that encouragement so I could find my creative expression. But is women empowerment always linked to financial independence? Are housewives not empowered? Is it not linked to the personality of the woman?
I will be very candid. I think making a home is the most difficult thing to do. Being a homemaker isn't easy at all. It's a lot of work. I personally think everybody should get out and do something which gives them joy. If someone finds it just in homemaking, that's joy too. But I just like to just say, put in your best effort for everything. I just don't, I feel lazy people, laziness is not not a good thing for, for anything. That's all it is. I feel, when there's when there's fire in the belly, and when there's someone as potential as you are, I feel, that's when I keep thinking that, Shruti, I'm learning so much from you. Why can't you share it to so many other people? It could be a lot more inspiring. That's what it takes. If I see someone who's really good, I probably tell that girl that, listen, you'd be great at this work. You should do it. It's just my observation and nothing else. Not like I'm, oh, listen, I'm the flag bearer of women empowerment. Let's go, let's do it. No, I just feel you're brilliant in it. Do it. Don't just, there are 100 things that pull you down, right? Pull you back because responsibilities that we have and all that. I'll just say, find time to do what you like. I tell that to myself also. Find time to do what you like.
What do you think the role of luck is in a person's life?
I don't know, Shruti. I have no idea. I really don't know. It's just very nice to say the luck is favoring. I believe in that little bit of astrology. I believe in the good days. Because I'm very God-fearing. I feel there's definitely one superpower which is protecting all of us. Everybody needs to be a bit God-fearing. This is what I think, You run life with certain dignity and you don't do nasty things because you're God-fearing. I am God-fearing. I be like, damn, I'm not going to do this bad thing. I'm not going to say this bad thing. I'm not going to hope this bad thing, because something like that could happen to me also. So that's God-fearing, and nothing wrong in being God-fearing is what I think. And I also think, luck favoring, I don't know, especially in a field like us, no?
Because success is a concoction of many things.
Lot of things. Lot of things. I don't like to put my head into that space because you become very dependent about it. So only to a little extent. I feel there's a dharma that you need to do to something. That if you do in full force, like you fully believe in it, give the best faith to it and do it, I feel everything else will favor to it.
And that is what Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita when we're talking about karma yoga.
That's what my brother-in-law keeps saying all the time.
And I remember I had a conversation with you one day in the elevator when you said, I don't want to make money, but I want to make it for the people who've invested their lives into this film.
Yeah. Again, I would be lying when I say there's always a math, right? You'd always be tempted. Oh, like when people are saying, you might make so many crores and all that, and only when some hard thing, you think like that. You'd be like, okay, nice. So I might make some money. You'd have like certain dreams for it and all that. Suddenly something would hit you, right? When the most difficult moment comes or the most difficult doubt happens, and be like, that's when I think, what has to come to me will come, but let this film be one of the greatest films ever made. Or, I'd be like, that's again the dharma. This is what we're here to make. Let's just make the best, and whatever has to follow will follow later on. That gives me a lot of peace.
As you talk, I hear you are a believer in karma.
Fully.
Yes. And you are also a believer in occult science like astrology, mediumship, tarot. Do you believe in tarot as
Little
well?
bit, yes.
Okay.
Little bit, yes.
And do you believe in numbers? Because Mahanati released on 9th, Kalki released on 2/7, which comes to 9.
My father believes in numbers a lot. It doesn't have to be 9, I guess, but he definitely believes in important dates, good days to release the film. So it's him, and we obviously, while you grow up, when you grow up, certain things come to your head, no matter what, they come to your head. So yeah, I believe in that basic vastu, basic astrology, basic good days, all that. I definitely believe. My husband is a huge sucker for all this. Like, he'd be like, hey, this is that durmurtam, don't step out also. He'll be like that extreme also. I'd had extreme people in my life, both my husband and my father, but I tend to be the mid ground. We like to do it, me and Priyanka believe in all that, but to an extent.
End of the day, I think it's also your mind, how strong your mind is and how well you can purify it. Because negative energy again comes back to how much you attract it in terms of what energy you give it.
Yeah. And being human, we all do it. We all tend to get there at every point, even at this time, even at this age and all that. Again, it's that little cleansing that you need to do for yourself, saying that it's all very small and little thoughts. You should get out of it and think for a bigger picture.
One person who comes to your mind, talking to him is like reading a book, and there's immense learning.
A lot of people. When my dad teaches cinema, it's that for me. When Nagi talks about certain good things of life, is that person from me. Obviously, my mother, everything she does. I mean, I always wanted to be my father while I was growing up, but then actually now I know I want to be my mother. My husband, for a lot of wiseness that he brings in. Whatever little conversation I've had with Bachchan sir for life, like that man is reading a book and absorbing so much like wiseness.
How was your experience with him?
Phenomenal.
What are 2 qualities you learned from him?
Discipline, dedication, still being like a child, getting excited for for the work. I mean, what hasn't he seen? Still, you're so dedicated, you're so disciplined, you're so feels like you are a small guy compared to the guys who's making the film. You'd give so much respect to filmmaker. Unbelievable. I mean, there's no one like Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. I think there's nobody like him, I think. So much that we all have learned, and so humble, so humble.
Does humility come through upbringing or does it come through failure?
Both, I'd say. Upbringing, failure, experience, age.
I think understanding we know very little.
Seeing so much also helps.
Have you ever been told your movie will not do well? Or what you believe in may not come true?
Most of my films. At least since the time we've started, me and Priyanka, every film that we did, people said, obviously Kalki is very different because there's stars in it, there's the scale of the film, everything. I don't know what the market at least thought, but every film we started, like when we started a film called Yevade Subramanyam, that's our life-changing film. Everybody said, you're mad, nothing of this film would work. That guy looks like a art film director, and you're all saying you're going to Himalayas. and nothing, no signs of the film is looking good. Nani wasn't also doing very well at that point of time. All of you who are not doing well are coming together with one debut director and going and making something in Himalayas. Nothing really worked for the market, but then we did it.
So how do you soothe self-doubt?
We genuinely thought, damn, this story is so good. We are loving it. That means we should make it. At that point of time, I genuinely at least thought, there is a certain amount of debt. It's only going to just increase a little more. Might as well try it, So that's how Yevade happened. And then when Mahanati happened, everybody loves Savitrama. Whoever knows of her loves her. Whoever doesn't know her, they don't know her. But the minute Nagi said, me and Priyanka both got excited. because we kind of grew up together. I still remember me and my sister. It's some sort of manifestation, I guess, or I think it's some direction. Some things I feel that film, no, she chose us to tell her story. I remember me and Sweetie lying on the
It's their
floor.
marriage day.
It's their marriage day. Nagi and Priyanka also got married on the same day, or on her birthday.
On her birthday.
Me and Priyanka would just sleep on a small pillow on floor, and we'd just watch some black and white movie. I remember Sweetie was a kid. Like, she'd just look at her and be like, she's so beautiful, no? Like, you know, even pretty, like, you know, our age low, our time low. Back in the day, it was still irrelevant for us, you know, for us to watch a black and white film. But that's a virtue of growing in place like Vijayawada. We used to get to watch those films and stuff. So I think there's some sort of serious connection that we've had. You know, we grew up watching the film. So much content of us we used to watch. When Nagi said it was very exciting, we jumped into it. Then everybody said, you're all mad. We'll watch the film. And then the film also tends to be slightly an expensive film because you need to give it that dharma, right? To make that happen, you know. You have to show Maya Bazaar. You have to show those certain things. Period film also generally is expensive. So they said, then Kirti Suresh was a new heroine. They said, nothing of this sort will work. These
what
guys
was Dad saying at this point? Dad
was excited. Dad was not too sure about Yevade, but he was excited about Mahanati. He somehow had a very good feeling about it.
Then, so during this time, how many times did you doubt yourself?
No.
You didn't doubt
during
yourself?
Mahanati, zero. Because we were so excited about making the film. Every scene was so exciting. We'd just come back and be like, yes. We had the best, I think, best nights ever that look what we did.
And it translated into the film. Coming to your favorite topic, motherhood and kids. How's your morning?
Kids. Now, Rishi's also there, yeah.
You have your morning rituals, of course, with your child.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Dropping her to school is a morning ritual. It is pretty much the most, at least was the most tedious thing back in the day. Now it's easy. Now she's also tuned to school and stuff. I am loving this phase. I never thought I'd pushed being a parent for a very long time. Yes. I think I got one work. Second, we got very comfortable in that little space and, you know, little skin of being chill and, you know, not many responsibilities. But then when it happened with a lot of joy. So I don't have regrets because I wanted a child when I was fully ready, each to its own.
How did you have that clarity?
I'd be like, you know, now if it happened, be very cool, be nice. I probably need that little human being in my life. And I am the most obsessed right now. I love, you know, back in the day, that's what, you know, we never used to have boundaries in work time, right? We used to work 8:39. Now you look forward to go back after 4:00. It just pinches me. Like, I want to go back home. I want to go back home because she probably is there and I don't know what she's doing, and so much joy. And I feel like she's growing up already.
How old were you when you were pregnant?
I was 38 and I delivered at 39, yeah.
So you pushed it till the last point.
I did.
Did you ever think of freezing your eggs?
No. No.
Did it ever bother you?
No.
Because there's so much insecurity.
And also, I think that all started happening in the last 5 years. Maybe it was there, but I don't know. I didn't. So, like,
you didn't have any pressure at home?
Pressure at home was always there.
But again, I think you manifested something great because Vaijayanti, Vaiju just happened to be a very beautiful, intelligent child. She's so lively. It's such a joy to be around her. She loves animals.
Yeah, she's pretty cute. Like, everything, I wanted everything of little bit of me and my mother and, you know, my father. A lot of things, I think, and a little bit of my husband. She's exactly what I manifested, and she's a little better than all of us. So, yeah, she's fun. At least I'm obsessed as a mother to my child. I think she's cute.
Yes. What is one quality you do not want Vaiju to take from you?
I don't want her to be weak. I'm still weak at points. I still am weak a little bit here and there. I don't want her to be that. Very, very few people who know me know that I'm a bit weak in few things in life. I still have some sensitive points. I wouldn't want her to be that, yeah. I want her to be very strong in those little things also.
Coming to motherhood, what did Vaijayanti teach you?
Empathy. She'd tell me, don't scold her. she'd be like, she probably is a mistake. So much that you learn from a little child, that, empathy is a lot.
Both of you share a very admirable relationship. You all are so much into each other.
Each other, yeah. I do a lot of things because of her. I feel all that is a learning only. I would have not done few things if not for her. I would have not let few things, be the way they are if not for her. So that means it's a bit of learning only, to you can give in a bit into life.
Be a better version of yourself.
Better version of yourself, balance your life better.
How do you teach the child moderation in terms of food, technology, consumption?
Very difficult in today's life. Unfortunately, very difficult because so much available outside. When we were growing up, there were so many things that we look forward, right? Like for a screening of a film, or to watch a film, or to eat an ice cream, to everything that's to eat a lot of things. We used to look forward, That's not there in today's, unfortunately, childhood. I try to do as much, but I can't deprive of, things that she feels like someone else is getting it. I'm not getting it. But I put my foot down. She's too young, Shruti. Screen time, I try to make it very less. Fortunately, she likes to jump and play. And
she
those
thrives
things.
On people. She
loves people. So that way I'm very lucky. That thing would bother me. And yeah, consumption is a lot. Like, she thinks she can stop in Ratnadeep any day and just pick whatever she wants to do. And she'd tell the nanny to ask mummy to do GPay. So I need to tell her the value of a rupee. And these little things we need to, that's a process.
But someone who's so successful in your professional life, you've had a successful marriage, you balance relationships so beautifully, who would imagine you would just jump on your couch at the sight of your pet dog? Tell us something about Biscuit.
I'm really scared of dogs, and you know this better than anyone. That's how I think we also, met in the community. You would bring your beautiful dog out, and I'd be like, listen, away. Let me just get off into the elevator and things like that. I'm really scared. So that's also one of those things. These few things that I didn't want my daughter to be, and that's exactly how she is. Thank God I manifested right.
2.5. I think she was 2.5
when she met your.
And she comes directly.
Gia, and Gia's a big one, and
she's a very
fierce looking one, and she'd just be so happy going to it.
She would just
that gives me like so much. What do you say? Pride, like as like it's like a blockbuster film. Be like, my daughter's not scared of dogs like I am. My daughter can swim like I can't. Like it's these things give you a lot of joy. In parenting, I feel.
Do you think fear is programmed, conditioned by parents?
100%. No. What am I scared of? I'm scared of the most silliest things. I'm not scared of the big things. Yes. I'm not scared of taking challenges. I'm not scared of, making some really big financial judgments and things like that. I'm not scared of all this. I'm scared of a silly injection. I'm scared of dog. I'm scared of... So I don't... what? Fear is very different for each person.
For each individual.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with the needs and demands of your young child? I know... she's the mom at times because you have to ask her permission to go out for dinner and lunch. You keep asking her, can I step out today? So how did she become the boss?
I personally think bringing up a child is very organic. She's seeing a mother who's working hard for sure. Now, Vaiju also understands at 5 that my mom needs to go to work. My mom needs to do certain things. My mom needs to do that call. She'll barter those little things for a few other things, but I'm also okay to kind of give her that barter because she's already extremely understanding. Now I have all the time for her, but when we're fully in filmmaking, there are a few things that you'll miss, few nights you'll miss, few, early mornings. There are a lot of things that you'd miss. I try to really cope up with as much as possible, but you still will miss a lot of things, and that gives you a little bit of guilt. So when I'm there fully free and I'm fully only for her, around her, so that way I'm kind of balancing my own head rather than her.
Coming to your family, I think all of you are a very knit, closed, loving family, and you'll really celebrate whether it's success or events, Diwali, Dasera. All of you are always coming together. How do you keep your relationships healthy?
I also think, again, it's the sisterhood, right? Like, we three are very, very tight. So Nagi, I remember apparently Nagi told my husband, said, like, they'll fight, but let's not get into it. They'll all be fine later.
And I was going to ask you that, because once siblings get married, once the spouse enters the dynamic, a lot changes. And most sisters end up becoming insecure or competitive when they're in the same field.
Zero. I think, fortunately, that's what I'm telling you, Shruti. I think we've seen hardships, right? Our family, very funnily, I mean, we celebrate a lot together. Like, you know, especially me and my youngest sister, right? We like festivals. We're like those, we're one of those people who like really looking forward to those things and stuff. So we celebrate a lot. But then when it actually comes to the core strength, when the film is a blockbuster or when there's the happiest of the moments, we are not very together. We are in our own spaces. When there's some sort of difficult time in any of our lives, we are very solid. And it doesn't happen because it has to happen. It happens very
Organically.
So that's something that I'd probably give to us three for the way we are. I think my mom has brought us up very well.
How do you deal with relationships where you're taken for granted?
I feel bad. I get affected. All of us do. I get very affected. I yell, scream, do everything that I'll have to. But then I started, thinking that there could be a reason, or that's the only way it would comfort me. Or I'd be like, listen, let this not affect me anymore. So these things would, but I definitely, I'm someone, I'm not someone who's quiet in these things. I'd like to put my foot forward and I'm like, listen, you can't take me for granted. It keeps bothering me that if I didn't tell them that,
yes,
it bothers me. I tell them.
What is this one quality you really look for in a good friend?
Honesty, empathy. Equalities in a friend, Telidu. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
You're a very gregarious person. You call yourself 60, 70 people dear friends. And I seen that at your birthday party.
Not really.
That's your close circle.
I have a close circle. Like, see, for example, I don't meet my friends very often. They'd all be like, listen, you disappeared and stuff. I'd keep disappearing, right? When there's work, we disappear on life itself. But then even if I meet them, at least the close group, I'm not an extremely a social person. I don't enjoy the party scene too much. But when I make my mindset like this is the period that I want to chill, I want to have fun, I want to go to parties. If it's a December, if it's a Diwali, I do that. But when I have to shut off, I like to have my own comfort space. So I have a bunch of friends who kind of grew up with me. So I think they've seen a lot of me, like not just this me, probably the Swapna who's flunked in an exam and who's genuinely trying to, so a lot of these things, right? So that gives me a lot of comfort. I love those people. But my very core few friends are my core few friends who grew up with me, who went to college with me, who kind of saw my worst situation to the best. Nothing will change for them. If I deliver Kalki also, it's the same. Or if I was in a very bad state, like back in the day also, it's the same for them. They are my core. If I ever have to pick up a call and cry, it's them for me. Two of them in America, one is here. They're my best of my girlfriends. And I have my buddies who like my, I'd say 10 good friends I have, fortunately. I'd probably give you also that one number in 10. And
I feel very grateful.
I just like to be comfortable with that person. I feel like my truth is staying with them. I feel like, they enjoy my success rather than, that is something very important for me. That sets me off. I know if they're not happy with it or if they're jealous, they're there, but at a distance, clearly.
What is a toxic trait in a friend that can really upset you?
Talk behind you. Terrible.
What is your relationship with God?
Wow, that's a great question. Very motherly. I can be pissed. I can talk. I can tell. I can do mistakes. Yet I know he or she are watching me.
A higher
They're
intelligence.
putting me in a right direction. Even when I do puja, I'd be like, some people follow those that regime, right? That strict regime. I'm not that person. I'm like, I really want to give, I want to bathe my Amavaru. I want to give like that Abhishekam, or I want to do it a certain way. I want to do my Ganesh Puja like this. I feel when I'm doing it happily, when I'm beautifully, it's and in my own world of beautiful thing, and then decorate just, and I feel God is also enjoying it. So that's my relationship with God. So motherly. There's a lot of complaints. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of give and take.
Do you forgive people easily?
Very.
You do?
Very.
Does it comfort you?
Yeah, gives me a lot of comfort. I look forward for a good relationship. Let it be anyone. I like to be happy. I feel it's a very small life. We don't know who's going when. I don't want to have any hardships with anyone, but my boundary is very clear.
Yes. Healthy boundaries.
Yeah, I forgive very easily.
How does gratitude help you? I remember after the success of Kalki, you texted a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And so how does it help you?
So much. It's a, what do you call, Vasudaika Kutumbam antaru kada. I feel it's every person is important for another living being.
Interconnected.
It is so important. I feel there's someone doing something which is helping me at another level. I know how much I would just rely on Maunika or you for Vaiju at some point of time, or how much I'd rely on you for a conversation at a tough time, how much I'd rely on my husband and his friends to so many things, and everything. I mean, probably things were not like that, Shruti, for me 15 years ago. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of experience, and I feel very, very thankful to a lot of things for the way I am, to Mother Nature, to God, to my friends, for my fellow beings, for my people who work with me, to my dad's friends who help me at every juncture. So many things. I'm very thankful. Very, very thankful. Just not for success, for this life, for the food that I'm eating, for everything that I'm doing.
Yes.
Very, very thankful.
Do you talk to Vaiju about gratitude?
Yeah, every day, every night.
How does she take it?
She's very young. I keep trying to tell her that, listen, you should be thankful for the things, but the things that our childhood was few things, but there are so many things that you have. That's something that I'm trying to embed in her, but I'm hopeful that she'll get there at some point of time. But she's also thankful. She's very cheerful, but she's very thankful for these little things, little moments. Yes. She's very happy she's going on a holiday. She doesn't take too many things for granted. She's too young to decide all that, but yeah.
In an industry that is plagued with sycophancy, where praise is almost happening every moment, how do you know what is something you're really worthy of and what is something that people are just doing it for the sake of it? Too much praise, right? Especially with politicians and in cinema.
Nothing gets into me. Nothing gets into me. I don't even see most of those. I definitely look at, there's also criticism. We'll have to be very balanced about it. When this is happening, that's also happening. Will also happen. It's bound to. So I enjoy the praise for the product. I enjoy it. I definitely look at the reviews. I look at those bottom lines. Yes, go watch it. And those things. I love those things.
So when it comes to movies, all of your movies are huge successes. But some of them have really touched the hearts of people. Like Mahanati, you look at the IMDb rating, it's higher than Kalki. Yevade Subramanyam is higher than Kalki. But Kalki is a box office success. What would you prefer personally? Would you prefer a movie that stays in the hearts of people?
It stays in the hearts. 100% the films which will stay in the hearts of people. And I'm very, very sure Kalki is going to stay in the hearts of people. You're yet to watch the other half of it, and it's going to stay in the hearts. I think whatever Nagi chooses to make and whatever we choose to make is something which we feel only if that part is there, that's something that we like to make the film. Very, very important. Commercial success is always good, but I always thought like even if I make 10 films through our life journey, 5 of them should be most of the people's DVD films. Like they should keep them in the film. I mean, it's not DVD anymore, but in the cloud. Like, these 5 films should stay. I think we definitely made some of those.
What does charity mean to you?
I'm not doing much of it yet. The want is there. Looking at, there's always that, like, I feel like doing. Whenever something comes my way, I'm doing. I like to do, but I definitely think giving back to the society is very important. So my way of giving back is something that's very comfortable for me. Like, somebody who's working with me, someone I need, to settle them. These things. It's not charity for sure. This is only clearly giving back. My husband is better off. Like, he definitely likes to do certain things. He's good with it. Nagi does this quite a bit, and
Vaijayanti did support the flood relief
that and
fund,
all.
right?
That's our basic responsibility. I wouldn't even call that charity. That's basic giving back, is what I think.
Are there any areas you feel you can improve as a person?
Oh, many. A big list. Should work out more, should have better discipline, should wake up early in the morning. That's something that I'm really trying to fight out. I'm trying as much. I do like an average of 7:30. I like to make that 6:30. I like to have less screen time. So many, Shruti. So many. That's what I'm saying. No, it's a lot of things that I like to work on myself. This is also one thing that I genuinely like to work on myself. I just need to prioritize that. I need to really work on my inner self. I feel that's again constant work. As a human being, you have to. So whenever I feel like there's a need, my mother's there, my sister's there, my friends like you are there, few of them. That gives me a lot of internal courage and cleansing and clarity and things like that. But yeah, I definitely like to look at a bigger scope of work on that.
When does marriage really solidify? Because once a woman has a child, a man tends to feel very left out. And I say this from experience. Because my husband came to me and he asked me, what is happening to the relationship? Because you're so obsessed with the child. You just want to do everything right. And then the relationship between the mother and child is so solid.
Yeah. You know what? It's good if the man realizes it. So at least the problem. Some men don't realize it. I don't think my husband realizes actually, it's obviously, there's a lot of this would be certain distance after baby comes in, and these things would challenge your marriage quite a bit. And, but also I feel it's the child which strengthens the relationship also a
Keeps
lot
it in
more
place.
in a bigger picture. Yeah. Marriage is a lot of work.
It is. Do you think handling a successful career is easy, or working on a successful marriage is easy?
Both are difficult. Both needs a huge amount of work.
Did you deal with any postpartum issues?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
Or were you just busy again with work?
No, COVID.
Okay.
I was so happy. I was so happy because I had all the time with my child. There's nothing. There was no work. We were all at home, that one big joint family. Postpartum is absolutely alien to me.
Many women don't realize it's a part of the journey.
So for me, very fortunately, with Vaiju, while she was in the stomach or post, was the most happiest days of my life. So I had nothing of that sort. But one point I'd like to agree with you. Bringing up a child is a lot of work. Like when I say making a home is a lot of work. When you just go out for that 1 hour and come back, gives you a lot of relief.
Strength,
let it be work, let it be a coffee with your friend, let it be like a bit of self-care. Gives you so much energy. I keep telling women who kind of get, when they feel it's tedious, I keep telling them, take off a little time for yourself. It's very important. Whatever little thing that you'll have to do, go out and do and come back. That little moment out and coming back. Watching a show peacefully that you'll want to do one episode. I'm saying these things are very important for your own self-being. Yeah.
How is it like having your father as a mentor? Because the role of the father is different. And I think because you work with him very closely.
My father's very easy. At the same time, he's very tough. Even at this point of time, we're still scared of him. Like, he can still bother our heads. He'd still be like, why are you going on holiday for so many days? I'm like, the other day I was telling him, so my sister's was on a holiday, and, he's like, when is she coming back? I said, what work do you have with her right now? I mean, let's just, I just really wanted to have that conversation because I said, what is the problem? He said, nothing. I told him, you just gotten used to this, all of us being around you like, an antenna, and there's absolutely no problem. We all are growing up. We all have to have our own lives. So let us be, let us go. So these are the bad things with my father, like that. These are the issues. But the good thing is, he teaches you a lot on a day-to-day basis. He's somebody who's like taught us to up the game like nobody's business. He said cinema has to be beautiful for it, give it whatever it takes. That courage came only because of that man and nothing else and nobody else. And also failure. He said nothing is permanent. That day I remember when everything failed for me, he said, listen, nothing is permanent. He said, there is going to be a sunrise. Just wait for it.
And that is the spiritual truth to any situation in life. We'll go to the favorite part. What are some real challenges you face in production? I think you had a fire accident during
This is
Kalki.
as latest as this. Not a big one. It's monetary loss for sure. Those are not the challenges. I feel losing money or getting something damaged, and these are not at all. These are things which won't really bother us. The things that really are challenging is putting things together, making the most difficult things happen. The process of it, like when you work with every film is an uphill by itself. At least those films only came to us, and we made those choices. It's literally when a friend of mine, dear friend Nandini, says, "Ippudu e konda ekkutunnaru ante we started off on Himalayas." Every film is like uphill for us. So putting all this together and making the film successful, is the most challenging thing. Like every film, like audience is something I feel like they're on our side. Where we like the content and they're also liking it. So it's very clear that way. If it comes to Kalki, bringing these biggest actors together, putting the money that it deserves for it to look like the way it did, because Nagi's vision is that, and you need to support that vision. And challenges, right? Like these dates, all of them are busy actors, bringing them together, finishing the film in time. It took so much time for us to make this film. These are the challenges. These are like day-to-day challenges. Like,
so in 4 years, so much can happen.
So much can happen.
There can be disease, there can be many other things. So
that's an angle that I wouldn't like to think ever. Whenever people talk about that, I'm like, that's not happening. So there are other challenges, like that kid who's 5 is like 7 is actually growing up, and we need to so these are the challenges. And every time when stories are evolving is very challenging on what to, I mean, there's we work very closely. I mean, we 3, so it's always something that keeps changing and for a better good, and you need to really support that element. And these are the real challenges. I mean, as a film like Sita Ramam, I'd say the challenges were very different at that point of time. Again, they said it's becoming an expensive film. The star of the film is not actually a Telugu star but a Malayalam star and all that, and going against so many people and making that film, and like guarding that film. Nothing I did for that film. I just guarded that so that the film will happen behind me. That's a big challenge. It takes a lot of your age, energy, so many things. But then when you look at it today, be like, everything is worth it.
So you focus only on the good things.
At least that's what I like to do. We're human. Our paths will keep going there to the bad things, but I'd like to really come back to the good thoughts.
So that's my takeaway today. What is your viewpoint on wealth creation? How much is enough?
I'm not greedy at all. If I was greedy, we would probably do it very differently, all our work, right? I feel it's needed. I mean, we're all working for it and it should come in. And how much is enough is a big question, because it's all in your head. If you want to be happy with a certain value, you can be happy. you can still have the same lifestyle if you want to do like a person with a certain value. It's all about, and that certain value won't have the lifestyle that you're having because his mindset is very different. I'm saying it's all about living your life in your own terms, and what is wealth when there's no happiness? I feel like my priority is being happy, good health, a decent amount of lifestyle that gives me a comfort. Like, I worked hard for it. I want a comfortable lifestyle. That's very sure. I don't care which car I'm going in. It's purely like I can go in any car. But that's like, because I have it, I drive it. Otherwise, I still don't have a car. It's my husband's car. So these things don't really matter for me. But I like to take good holidays. I don't spend too much. I'm moderate. Whatever is important, whatever gives me joy is what I buy. I don't buy for the heck of it. I don't live for the heck of it. I don't live for anybody else. I like to live it, something that I'm enjoying, sort of a thing. Yeah. That's for me, the value of wealth is.
I did notice that you don't splurge money on expensive watches, bags.
Zero.
You enjoy dressing up.
I enjoy dressing up. I find a lot of joy in picking up at something on my own sense of style and be like, someone says, hey, look, I like your outfit. How much this is, that gives me a lot of joy and pride. But yet, yes, I splurge. I'll buy a designer if I like that piece. Not that I have to own that something of the designer. If I like that piece, I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'm very comfortable in a cotton sari also.
Are respect and success synonymous to each other?
Unfortunately, in the society that we're living in, to a large extent, it is. But there are still a gem of a world who care nothing about what you're doing. They respect you for the person that you are. There's still that world remaining, and that's the world that I love. Those are the people that I like to keep in touch till I die.
Do you think we as humans use work as an escape to not deal with our emotions?
No. I sit and deal with my emotions and then only go to work. For me, I prioritize my emotions. I definitely...
Do you journal? How do you remove that emotion out of your system?
I am very vocal about it.
Okay.
I'm very vocal about it. I'm a very emotional person. I cry a lot when I watch a movie, and I'm not comfortable with a certain situation. I pour out to that person or to my sisters in the office that day, and she'd see me and be like, something is off, right? Yeah, I'm all out. I'm not someone who can hide. I'm very vocal about my emotions. Happiness, sorrow. Like you said, someone is taking me for granted, I'll put my foot forward and you can't take me for granted. So I'm very, very clear about it.
What was your lowest point in your life? And at that point, what was your mindset like?
At 23, 24, I was pulled into a business where I'm not capable of that business. Clearly, I was incapable of doing that business, and I failed miserably. And my father and his friends have put in a lot of money and they've lost everything of it. And that was at 28 to 29, I'd realized that. And then there were so many issues. There's so many, I was the face of the business, though I was not literally, fully responsible for it, but still you had to face a lot of legal issues, 100 things, a lot of debt and everything. And there was a point when there was a certain legal thing going on, and I was sitting in the chamber in a court, and I was like, I'm probably barely 28, 29. Most of these guys probably did some horrendous crimes, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything except we lost our own money. We lost our people's money. It's just miserable. That's hit me very badly. Hit me meaning, I think, thanks for that. I'm very thankful for that also, because today I'm a better human being. I am so much wiser, cautious, a lot of other things, yeah.
But that's the thing with people who start off early. They fail early. They take the learnings and then they move on.
I think someone else also told me, you should be very lucky that, I don't remember that person, that you failed so early. For you, again, I'm telling you, I'm very optimistic. So I'd be like, oh, there's no more failure anymore for me. So I'm very optimistic. I like to look at life like that. I want Vaiju also to look at life like
But
that.
you've been manifesting things your way. How are you manifesting things?
I don't know, Shruti. I don't know.
Maybe this is the story, the narrative that goes on in your mind.
I feel like, so my manifestation is this only, that I did my best to this work and it can't fail me. It shouldn't fail me. When I know I didn't do enough, I know it's not going to work. There's a film that we've done together. We've done very recently, a very dear friend of mine, Nandini's film. We worked with each other for other blockbusters. For her blockbuster, she worked with me very closely for my other blockbuster, but we both couldn't deliver. We were like, I think I took it for granted. I'm like busy with other stuff, and so I know I don't want to take anything for granted. So yeah.
What do you do on days when you wake up unaligned? What are your stress management strategies? Because your work demands you to be in your metal.
When there's stress, when there's challenging period, I'm up and going. That's what I realized in last few weeks and months. When everything is done and with this pending work, I am not aligned to go at all. I just feel like I've worked so much. I think mentally I've given in so much. I feel like, I'm not able to do. Those are days like that. I'd let them pass. I'd still go sit at workspace for some time. I do all that. If needed, I take a break for a few hours. I do all. But one morning I'll wake up. This is my routine. This is my regime. If it helps someone, it is what it is. I'd be like, enough is enough. Let's put everything on a piece of paper. Start marking each one. Though it's difficult, let's put a time period. 1 week for this, 10 days for this, 15 days for it. Let me get the tasks done. My dad told me long time back, I said, I don't have any work. What's the point of waking up in the morning? He said, go, wake up in the morning, sit on a table, put a piece of paper, hold a pen in your hand, work will come by itself. This is a huge mantra that I've learned for myself. And I feel like I don't, for everybody, right? Like we kind of gather things. We stack up things. All of us, like emotions, things, work, all that. Feel like write them down and send them out.
Yes.
Send them out. That's very important. Gives me a lot of joy. So 4 things done for the day, I'm happy. If I didn't do anything that day, if I lazed feeling like I don't want to do it, that's a miserable day. I sent 2 things out, that's a greater day for me.
So you've battled procrastination out of your system just with the simple art of writing, putting your thought out there on a piece of paper.
A little bit of that basic discipline that, I hate lazing in bed after a point, except if it's a Sunday. Even, that's also now done. Like I don't do Sundays also. I don't laze around. I feel like if there's nothing also, I like to clean my cupboard and things like that. So for me, a nap is luxury. I feel like treating it as luxury. So these are those little things I feel has helped me as a human being.
Do you think these characteristics did attribute to your success?
I definitely think so. I'm always up and game for running. I keep saying that this is it, I'm retiring, I'm not going to do anything else in this 4 days, and I'm like, I need to work. Let it be any kind of work. I even would like to go, I'd like to do some activity with kids or pick like a program or, clean up my house, and that's a program for me. Like 1 week, let's clean up each area. So I need some activity. I can't do without it.
The first imagery that comes to my mind when I think of you, your presence reminds me of warm air. Air has the quality of moving. You as a person, you're very warm. When you walk into a room, you carry that energy of lightness where you're able to communicate so effectively, mingle with everyone. Doesn't come naturally to everyone. And also, you don't like being stuck up. You want to move. I've seen that even when I bump into you at times, you want things moving.
It's very important for me. If things get stuck up, I shared with you also. If something's stuck, I develop a bad backache and things like that. So it's fully relevant, like my body is not aligned to something getting stuck. But in the due course of work that we do, the life we have, things get stuck, and how you push out is what it is.
What is a new skill that you've learned?
Embroidery. I'm doing a little bit of knitting now. It just gives me so much peace, and because it takes you away from the phone, work so much. I'm obsessed. I'm really looking. I'm still not able to do it by myself. I need to sketch it, or I need to pick a sketch where I can do, but I am loving it. So that's one thing that.
Welcome to the world of slow living.
Slow living is so important. It's so important. What I find super joy in watching also are these videos of women who like living very slowly, because it's very different from the way I'm living, right? So it gives me, it's very ambitious for me. That's just so much nice, and I'll want to do it at some point of time. Yeah.
But how do you switch off? Like this morning, you had a very busy schedule. Before you came, you sat with me for the podcast. But when you're here, you're fully here. And then when there are breaks, you're taking your phone calls. There's nothing rolling in your mind. So how do you switch on and switch off? It's
Wow.
happening naturally to
Wow.
you. Did you take notice of
no,
it?
I don't know. I always feel I'm a bit hadaudi. I'm there, like, I'm doing a lot of things. That's also the way I, even if I'm doing a certain thing with another hand, I'd like to do another one. So I keep thinking I could just finish this and do it later, right? But I don't do that. Yeah, but all that is also making me the person that I am. I guess I'm able to, with this sort of active. I won't call it active lifestyle. I'd rather say, probably this developed into that doing multiple things. So to whatever extent that I'm able to do, I'm happy. I'm doing okay, and I like to do better. I'd like to do better in terms of work, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter. These are my priorities.
So I come from a non-film background, and I have absolutely no knowledge about how this industry works. So as a producer, where does your role begin? How much can you get involved during filmmaking? From the time the idea comes in, who comes up with the story? Can you just share all of that with us?
So most of the time with us, the director comes with the idea. There was also a point of time that when one or two films my dad had thought of an idea, something like, there's a Jagadevi Datta Lokasundari. He used to be an ardent fan of Jagadeka Viruni Kada. He used to be, I don't know if the writer had put in that thought in his head, or I don't know if it was his thought. I was too young to remember. He used to watch that film like 100 times, the same film again. And he was like, if he could go into the Devalokam, why can't like a Devakanya come to the Bhulokam, was the thought process. So then then he and Raghavendra uncle nurtured like 25, 28 writers, and they thought of it. So it came back in the day, apparently, Chakravarti Nagareddy and all, story used to brew in their campus, and then they used to make it. But now I think mostly it's the director who comes with an idea, and then we support it the way, in every way possible. In all the cases, most of our cases, it's that. There was only one point. There was this little. That also is a story by a writer that just most recently. I mean, she came up with this idea called the girl's name is Srimati. Ironically, she's not married. Then it just hit me, the myth of girl getting married at 30, having a baby at whatever, these things at 22 and having a baby at 25. This is very personally something that I'm very against, and we developed a story around it. What if this girl is 30 and she's in a small village, and it is such a big thing that she's not married in the village, and ironically her name is Srimati, and then if that girl decides to open a bar in the village. So it was a very, very interesting, it was quite a kick for me to do that. So that kind of brewed with a lot of writers in that. Otherwise, most of the stories are coming from a director. We help him develop it, or it's come fully in a developed shape, and then we provide whatever it needs, to see the final product.
So, at what stages does a producer really get involved? Is he there on the set every single day?
We are there every single day. We are very involved in a way. Involved ante we're not somebody who's sitting and I not take any sort of credit for the story it is and things like that. But when there's a certain element of like, could that be like this or that, we'd probably add a little saying that yes, it could be this and could probably be a little more. These little, very little things we add in, but the due credit fully goes to the filmmaker himself. Let it be Nagi, let it be Hanu, let it be anyone. It's fully their credit, and we are there only to support them and fully make sure it happens. That they can only think that we take care of the other ingredients, I'd say.
So when it comes to costumes, the costumes in Mahanati are so beautiful. The costumes in Sita Ramam are so beautiful. Do you play a role even there?
Again, we fortunately are able to work with really good technicians / HODs for that department. But yes, like a period film in. I know you asked me the question because you know that I like to get involved in costumes a bit, but in period costumes, yes, I have an eye for it, is what I feel, and I like to be involved in costumes a little bit. My sister is great with art. Like anything in the house, something has to be changed. I call her. So she's fantastic, sweetie, Priyanka. So she's very good with it. So it just so happens I'm good with kind of picking up the right clothes for ourselves and stuff like that. So they'd bank on me. So that's become a lifestyle. Like that's become our careers also. So okay, I'm good with this particular department. I take care of that. She's great with building. She takes care of like with architecture and art and stuff. She takes care of it. So for Kalki, the hard work was for her more than me, because costumes, there's only one costume for each actor, whereas they had to build so many things.
Yes.
From vehicles to sets to pin to pen, everything has to be built. I was more relaxed during Kalki.
So should a director be a good story writer?
Most of the directors we work with, fortunately, are story writers. I feel that's the way things are great. I mean, if they write their own story and they make their own story, I think it's something that I personally feel is proven well.
You did mention in a previous interview that the story of Arjun Reddy had come to you.
Yeah.
So normally when they tell you the story, they give you the entire script.
Yeah, I think Arjun Reddy, he had like a full 3.5 hour narration.
And you sit through the 3.5
Yeah, he even had like, I'd say he would even explain the intimate scenes also. I'm like, wow, what is this writing to what extent? If it's interesting, it's great, no, Shruti. I mean, to be respectful, I sit through any narration. Even a bad narration, I'd like to sit through for the due respect for the filmmaker. Until unless it's really terrible, I'd be like, I'll listen to the other half later,
But what about this fear that the story might leak out before the movie translates?
We all work with good faith in cinema
there's a
industry.
code.
Ours is a very traditional, organized, and also very, like, we work on a lot of sentiment and faith and goodwill and a lot of things. For people looking from outside,
It's minimized.
It's minimized. They look at like the bad things that happen in cinema. They'll say, don't get them married to cinema families. But the glamour is there. They want to be around with cinema people. They think all the bad stuff happen in cinema. Nothing. It's the most secured. There are things that happen in every field.
Very individual.
They happen everywhere. An amount of things happen here also, like every field. But I think it's a very safe environment. It is.
You've always stayed by your word.
Yeah.
What about the surprise element of suspense? Like in Sita Ramam, she was a princess. So when you are shooting with so many people on the set, or there was Vijay Devarakonda, or so many producers, he came into Kalki. Nothing comes out.
We are very tight-lipped. We generally, and also we're very fortunate, and forget about she being the princess. That's okay. They think it's, it's a part of the story. They're not, it's still okay. Like, you need to hide that Sumati, Deepika Padukone, is pregnant, that too for 4 years. And then you name the film Kalki. And then, when you know that she's pregnant, most of them would guess that, she's carrying Kalki. I mean, how much we had to work around it. And, I remember during Mahanati also, we didn't want a picture to get leaked of Kirti Suresh, because we wanted to present her like Savitram. We all used to be like hawks, including Kirti. Should be like, Is anyone peeking? Is anyone peeking? So fortunately, we really have ate that game. I think we are like, touch wood. We've been keeping things very confidential. I think most of the cinemas like that. They're very true to them. There are hundreds of people working, right? Like, enlightenment to production guys to so many people. They're very true to the craft. They don't come out and tell on what's happening.
It's very difficult to believe because it is so part of human nature to
To just
small talk or
right?
to
No,
share
so many
out
films,
of
you don't know what
excitement.
is happening, right? Like, I have so much pride that I come from this industry. We're all like, from the smallest guy to the biggest person, our core is very strong when it comes to our craft. And we're all there though we are contemporaries, we have rivalries, like, we probably bring the cinema on the same day. But when we all have to stand for each other, we're truly there. Yeah, it's a fraternity, clearly, yeah.
What does it take to be a producer? If at all there are any young aspiring producers who are watching this at this point, what does it really take?
I think come to cinema if you want to tell a great story. Don't try to come to cinema because you want to be in a glamorous field or it's going to be like it's cool to be in cinema. One, it's not that cool work. It's a lot of work. And if you want to be like, oh, this is such a great idea and this needs to go out in light, and I think I can bring this product well, like, in a good shape, then come. Cinema is fully open. Play the way you want to.
That was a beautiful episode. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you
this
so much for having
conversation.
me. I'm not someone who does this regularly, but this is something I enjoyed thoroughly. I enjoyed it. I loved being with you because this is what we do, right? You and me, we talk so much about inner being, self, lot of things like our lives, children, our husbands. We talk so much, and doing this is very special for me.
Thank you so much again. So all the best for Kalki Part 2.
Thank you, Shruti.
My deepest gratitude. This was a beautiful episode with Swapna, and we thoroughly enjoyed shooting it. She is one human who embodies a strong moral compass when it comes to keeping her close relationships healthy, always trying to uplift her friends and family to collectively grow together. It comes from a need to live in a happier ecosystem, which is a prerequisite to keeping our environments healthy. If you like this episode, remember to share it with your friends and family. We have also documented the learnings from this episode at the end, which you can screenshot or download and apply it for your personal growth. Thank you so much for watching this episode till the end. We as a team put in many hours of work to curate each episode. If you like our content, you can support us by subscribing to our channel and hitting the bell icon. And we promise to get better and bigger together.